Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Appreciate you coming on back for today's second Cabral House Call of the weekend. We're going to be answering more of our community's questions. So each and every weekend, we answer all things wellness, weight gain, weight loss, body transformation, anti-aging, longevity, nutritional supplements, anything that you could imagine related to health, wellness, nutrition, fitness, you name it. So love being able to look at your questions. I'm just opening up the giant document that my team so graciously puts together each and every week. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get to another 5 or 6 of the community's questions right now. First question today, again, if you want to follow along, head on over to stevencabral.com/2893. You can read all the questions. While you're over there, make sure you pick up a free copy of the Rain Barrel Effect if you haven't already done so. Okay, first question today from Anonymous. It says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. How much salt should I consume while recovering from adrenal fatigue? I understand it's individual. However, can you give some general guidelines? For example, how much salt did you consume to each meal when you had full-blown Addisons disease? I have to listen to your podcast about salt. You recommend salt to taste. I appreciate that tips, but if I do so, it's like there is no limit for me and I end up over-salting. I get a puffy face, stiff muscles, and feeling discomfort overall. Right now, I'm eating a 1 teaspoon to each meal. My body tolerates this amount okay, but I could easily eat a tablespoon each meal to satisfy my salt cravings. However, then I get the salt overeating symptoms. Salt gives me so much energy. Have a great day." It's a great question. Okay, so you know my general recommendation, and you're right. Use salt to taste. Now, this can obviously be overdone because as you get older, a lot of adults as well, their taste buds don't taste salt as well. And so they oversalt their food. So I do agree. It's a very good point that there has to be general guidelines. So the overall arching answer is that you can almost consume as much salt as you want if you consume enough calcium, magnesium, and potassium to balance that, but also enough water to make sure you're flushing everything through the system. Now you might say if you consume too much water, then you flush out too much sodium. It's true. Everything is about osmotic balance. You're talking about the swollen face and the stiff muscles. Yeah, that's because when you look at it, the dilution of sodium inside the matrix, the cellular matrix, meaning like the gel, the fluid, it's too high. But if it had more water, it'd be fine. So a tablespoon of salt at one meal is way too much salt. So I can say general guidelines, way too much salt. We need to also get in that potassium. So what you may want to do, although I do usually recommend just a little Celtic sea salt, a little pinch, right? Or a little bit of Redmond's real salt or anything like that, or some real Himalayan sea salt. What you want to think about is, okay, am I also getting potassium along with it? So you might want to use an electrolyte, right? So one of the electrolytes that I like, that if I'm using that instead of which I typically just use lime because I like the enzymes from it and the lemon or some sea salt, is Redmond's real salt. So, they make a electrolyte now. It's called Relight. Yeah, and it's pretty good. So the ratio isn't overdoing salt. Now, a lot of people like the electrolyte product Element, right? But that one's a 10-to-1 ratio of salt to potassium. So unless you're a heavy sweater, that's a lot of salt to potassium ratio. So I worry about people not in the right ratio. So I like closer to a 2.5 to maximum 4 of sodium to potassium. So hopefully that gets you started. But a teaspoon at each meal, that's still a lot of sodium. That's a lot of salt. So I don't know if you were, again, I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. But I think you're relying too much on salt. So I could spend an hour just on your question. I can't. I can only spend a couple minutes because I want to get through, be respectful to all the other questions. But improving your adrenals is not just about salt. So it's about fixing your gut, pulling the thorn out of your side, right? Out of your foot. So is it gut issues? Is it heavy metals? Is it high levels of stress? Are you not getting enough sleep? So you need to look at that. Balancing blood sugar. It's another thing. Super important. So I'd be looking at I'd be getting magnesium in. I'd be getting all my electrolytes in. I'd be fixing my gut function, stress. I'd be getting enough vitamin C. I'd probably be using adrenal energy support during the day, 2 at breakfast, 2 at lunch. And I would certainly be using the daily foundational protocol as well. And you can find all these at stephencabral.com/shop. That's what we use in our practice. Again, you never have to get it at our functional medicine center online, but you just have to get it somewhere. So get it from whoever you trust. All right. Hopefully that helps. And Anonymous, I know you'll find your answer, no doubt about it. But don't go overboard on the sodium, right? There is too much of a good thing. Okay, even though on social media it seems like there's never too much, right? Kelsey says, hello, I've tried many types of diets to help my constipation throughout the years. Low fiber, high fiber, paleo, autoimmune, paleo. I have it when I'm just eating normal, unhealthy foods and when my diet is super clean. I take magnesium daily. What else could I do to help this? What could be the root cause? The only time I haven't had this issue is when I was in France. I had bowel movements very regularly. Okay, so I don't know what happened when you went to France, but I actually asked that question on my private client questionnaire. Because I go, Kelsey, when she goes to France, does not have constipation, although she does every other time. And I would say, Kelsey, what do you eat when you go to France? And you would list your whole diet. And if it was exactly the same, I'd say, oh, interesting. But it's still not high, because a lot of people just blame it on the glyphosate, which very well is true in the United States. But maybe you eat the same exact diet and there's no really issue either way. So I'd say, Kelsey, are you a lot more stressed when you're in the US than when you're in France? And she'd be like, yes, absolutely. And I'd say, okay, that's the cause of your constipation. We sometimes think constipation, the cause of it is just food or just fiber or minerals, vitamins. But often it's tension. Some people get tension and it goes to the shoulders and their neck is so tense and they always need a back massage. Other people, it goes to the gut. It makes them nervous or it makes them constipated. And so we call that bowel motility. And you get slower bowel motility the more tensed and stressed that you are. Not for everybody, but for some. And so my recommendation, Kelsey, is if you haven't run the starter kit, I would run that. It gives you all your mineral levels, your stress levels, your heavy metals, and it gives you your gut function along with your vitamin levels. That's what I would do. You get a customized plan. Of course, you can work on stress, but if you have candida overgrowth or bacterial overgrowth, we can help with that. And then again, temporary solution, sure. We use calming magnesium before bed, full spectrum magnesium during the day. And then we use alkalizing vitamin C upon waking in some warm water, and that can help tremendously. So that'll at least get you started. But I would run your labs to find out exactly. And then if the stress thing hit home, remember, like you can't out supplement, out exercise, out anything stress. You still have to work on that component. And I write about that in the Rain Barrel Effect. All right, Jenna is up next. If you had to choose just one or two supplements to take that can help quiet fearful recurring thoughts, what would that be? I really need help quieting my amygdala. Oh, I get it. Totally get it. Okay. So Jenna's having more fearful, like worrisome thoughts. Okay. I can only give you two. Well, if I can only give you two, I'm going with either full spectrum magnesium or calming magnesium. And I would probably do calming magnesium because you can just dose that however you like. And you can drink it throughout the day in water. You can just make your water and it tastes like strawberry. It's delicious. So you can just like your water can just literally be calming magnesium. And then I would use CBD. You can find the CBD we use at equilibriumcbd.com. And you could use gummies or you could use the oil. Or soft gels if you want. But the soft gels are just like really potent if you take a couple at a time. So if I can only use two, that's what it would be. But a third one would be Adrenal Soothe. And a fourth one would be omega-3s, daily omega-3 support. All right. And then I would do other things, of course. I would look at the whole de-stress protocol. I would do my walking and my relaxation, my meditation, my resonance breathing, all those great things. We teach all of that in IHP as well. I can't recommend IHP enough. Even if you're not looking to become a certified health coach, what it can do for you and your family, learning how to go through the de-stress protocol, personalize it for yourself, and run your own at-home labs, I can't recommend it enough. You can find out more about it at integrativehealthpractitioner.org to see if it's the right fit for you. All right, Laura's up next. Laura says, hi, Dr. Paul. What do you think about the Japanese detox patches? There's a company called Bandu that sells these foot patches that are supposed to pull toxins out of your body through the soles of your feet at night. The patch could be very dark after the first night, But then after 10 or so, it could be clear already. Could you please look into it if these are any good? Thank you so much for your help. Happy healing to everyone. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate you giving a shout out to the community. You know what? I've seen these so many times and I want to believe. I really do. I want to believe. I want to believe in all these things, but I haven't seen them get lighter over time. That's the issue. It's kind of like heat and sweat always make them look dark because inside there's herbs and you're basically starting to see those herbs. But I would love it, and maybe people can comment below. Have you ever used basically they stick onto your feet and they contain, let's call them detoxifying herbs, which certainly do work inside your body, and they attach to your feet. And then overnight they help draw out. Now, I'm not saying that they don't work. I'm not saying that. I want to believe. But every recommendation I give is based on, here's what they've been using for thousands of years. Here's what state-of-the-art medicine and research shows. And I know that these herbs work inside the body. I know that. Can they draw from outside the body? Maybe. They do work in baths. Like it's possible. Like in a bath, I know from research that things like mustard seed can work. We already know baking soda, magnesium, sulfur, so Epsom salt, right? Magnesium sulfate works. So there's a lot of things that works, like transdermally. So I want to believe, and if those patches, so here's the thing, I might give them a shot myself. If you know of a company that you believe works, drop it in the comments below. I'm going to pick one of these companies. I'm going to try them out. I'm going to wear them every night. And then I want to see after 2 weeks if they get any lighter. I do my detoxing. I do my fasting. I run all my labs. I know I don't have a lot of toxins in my body. So I'm going to try it out. And if it works, I'm going to promote them. So they'll get a shout out. All right. Thanks, Laura, for bringing that to my attention. All right. Let's do one more question. It's from Alexandra. Dear teacher, can you please demystify it once forever? Oatmeal or no oatmeal? I know from the course that you are not necessarily against it, but I'm curious why some biohackers are against it. Phytic acid and glucose spike. So client on weight loss should stay away from it, I guess. But I'd like to hear more of your explanation to make some kind of conclusion. All the best. Okay. I've talked about oatmeal, like 24 times. Oatmeal has been eaten forever, like forever. So back with millet and amaranth and some of the ancient grains, oats was one of those. And it's always been used by the traditional naturopaths hundreds of years ago. In clinical scientific data, we know that it helps reduce oxidized cholesterol. It helps with blood pressure, and it even helps with type 2 diabetes. But you might say, how is that humanly possible? And it can even help with weight loss. I literally just did a show this week on one identical twin went vegan while the other didn't. See what happened. That was Tuesday's show, episode 288. And they lost weight and they ate oatmeal for breakfast basically every day versus eggs. Now, I'm not saying that this is what everybody needs to follow. When I say these things, people get all up in arms because they love eating meat 3 times a day. To me, if you're eating meat 3 times a day and you're thriving, fantastic. But I don't know about it for longevity. If anybody really wants to know all of the latest and greatest science and research for longevity and anti-aging, I can't recommend enough checking out highperformancehealth.org. It will take you from A to Z as to what's the truth and what's not. There is nothing wrong with oatmeal, unless you have an issue with oatmeal, right? Unless you literally cannot digest and handle oatmeal well. Yes, everybody needs to fix their glucose, their blood sugar levels if that's an issue, right? So we fix that. But I'm talking about it does not take humans more than 12 months to get their body back into balance. It doesn't. You can have the worst autoimmune issue. You can have what I had, Addisons disease, POTS, all sorts of issues. You still can get better in 12 months. So all I'm saying is, let's make this the year we get ourselves back into balance, and then we can then look at everything that we can do after that. Now, phytic acid is almost, it's eradicated, not all of it, but eradicated when it's cooked. And you can get sprouted oats as well. But the thing is, phytic acid isn't all bad. I did a podcast a couple years back that literally shows phytic acid in food can help with potentially preventing colon cancer. Biohackers will never tell you about that, right? And then the other one is glucose. Yes, it does increase glucose. But the thing is, your glucose comes back down within 2 to 3 hours. And I'm wondering, from all of the longest lived people who do these and eat these types of foods, their glucose comes up and it comes back down. It's very interesting because that very well may drop cortisol and levels. It can help with leptin and ghrelin and other things as well. So I think that you should be walking around with blood sugar levels elevated all day long? No. Do I think it's an issue to increase your blood sugar after each of your 2 to 3 meals, like main meals per day? No, I don't. I really don't. I mean, I run my own blood labs twice a year. I run my own functional medicine lab tests another 2 times a year. We see somewhere between, we have over 500,000 labs of data. And I don't see oatmeal causing people to become unwell. If anything, the increase in fiber and the other nutrients in it seem to be actually beneficial for all of the 3 main causes of disease and death, which is type 2 diabetes, blood pressure and stroke, cardiovascular issues. So I would take all of social media with a grain of salt. And just because someone says it has phytic acid, so what? So? Oh, it binds up all of your magnesium, zinc. No, it doesn't. It binds up a percentage of that. Now, are you eating phytates with every single meal? Are you not cooking? Are you eating the oats raw? Most people don't eat raw oats. So again, just take everything, what you hear with a grain of salt. That includes this show as well. I'm always, again, remain skeptical. Ask questions. The thing is, I just try to stay unbiased because to me, it doesn't matter to me whether you eat oatmeal or don't eat oatmeal. But I would hate for someone not to be able to eat it if they're at a healthy body weight and they're trying to improve their overall cardiovascular longevity by having a little oatmeal a few times a week. I certainly don't think that's an issue. It's never been an issue in history, so we're just making it an issue now. And that's because people like to engage in food wars, like my diet's better than your diet, right? And I think that that's a little silly. So I think that we want to give people the best possible nutritional choices, not limit them too much, and make sure that it's not the only thing they're doing to improve their overall health, right? In the de-stress protocol that I write about in the Rain Barrel Effect, it's diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, scientifically backed supplements, and a success mindset. Diet is one part of the 8. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you, Alexandra, for writing in. I appreciate all of the support from this community. I truly do. You're all amazing. I thank you. I'll be back tomorrow, the brand new Mindset and Motivation Monday. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.